Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Tom with Capo Fetish. Today, we're going to cover 10 stellar power pop albums from the 1990s. Someone suggested this after the video I did about a week ago on 1980s power pop. So today, we're going to do 1990s power pop, and then we'll do a 70s one later on. So here we go. These are 10 of my favorites. They're all excellent. Let's start off here with number 10. An absolute favorite from 1993, Urge Overkill's Saturation. This is really like a pumped up version of power pop, kind of 70s style, arena style. And the first track is just a killer opening track, Sister Havana. It's got a little bit of airplay back in the day. I think this album kind of, I think it suffered from the grunge movement. It didn't really register with the public at the time, who were fully into the whole grunge thing, but it definitely gained an underground appreciation. I don't even think it hit the top 100, but they definitely did have a following at the time. I think this album is fantastic. Other great tracks, Tequila Sunday, Positive Bleeding, Back on Me, Woman to Woman. It's just fantastic all the way through. Maybe the second half isn't as strong as the first half, but I think the first 5 or 6 songs just really have a lot of punch, hooks, all those elements you love from a great power pop album. So Urge Overkill's Saturation from 1993 coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Sugar's Copper Blue from 1992. This is the debut from Sugar. Bob Mould, formerly of Husker Du, formed this band. This kind of is a continuation of the latter day Husker Du with a different little aesthetic going on. But like if you listen to the last Husker Du album, Warehouse Stories, they're getting more melodic. It's not as much, there's not much of that kind of hardcore element that was early in Husker Du's career. But this is kind of like Bob Mould moving into more power pop. And it is a stellar record from start to finish. 2 of my favorite tracks on here, Helpless and the song called Changes, absolutely rock. Hook-filled and that Bob Mould roar of a guitar, just breaking through the speakers. Just fantastic stuff. Other great songs on here, more lighter fare, like If I Can't Change Your Mind is really good pop, more acoustic based. But yeah, a fantastic record from 1992 on Ryko Disc. Remember the Ryko Disc label? Ryko Disc CDs with the green kind of tinted jewel case is always really cool looking. Sugar, Copper Blue from 1992, coming in at number 9 for me. Coming in at number 8 is the soul album from the band The Grays. This came out in 1994. The album called Rochambeau. This features former Jellyfish member Jason Faulkner. It also has John Bryan, who is he was featured on a lot of albums in the 1990s, did a lot of production. I believe he was married to Amy Mann, or they dated. And he had a residency for years at the Club Largo Club in LA, playing different shows every week. But this is a fantastic album. The first track, Very Best Years, kind of recalls some early Todd Rundgren, kind of the Runt Something Anything period. Really great lead-off track. There's a track on here called Friend of Mine, which has this killer guitar solo that just goes perfectly with the song. That's another favorite on here. Another one called Oh Well Maybe. Just really great stuff. I saw these guys open for the Smithereens at the Ventura Theater back in '94. They were fantastic. I saw them again at the Troubadour as well around that same period, and they were awesome. I think this has long since been deleted. If you could find a copy, I highly suggest picking it up if you love power pop from the 90s. Really great stuff here. The Grays, Rochambeau from 1994, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a band that really isn't associated normally with power pop. They kind of straddle a lot of genres throughout their discography. But this album is full on power pop. And for me, it features one of the greatest power pop songs of the 90s. And I think one of the greatest singles of the 90s that never went anywhere. The band is called Delamitri. The album is called Some Other Suckers Parade from 1997. And the track I'm talking about is Not Where It's At. If you've never heard this track, after this video is over, you need to pull that track up and you tell me that isn't one of the greatest songs you've ever heard in the power pop genre. I mean, hook-filled, really just like crunchy guitars, catchy chorus, incredible song. that's not the only song that's good on here. The whole damn album is fantastic. The title track, Some Other Sucker's Parade, track called Won't Make It Better, What I Think She Sees, another track called Medicine, and on and on. Every track on here is fantastic. This is really, I never hear anybody talk about this album. I hear them talk about other Del Amitri songs or albums, but I never hear anybody talk about this album, and you must hear it. It's a must hear. Del Amitri's Some Other Sucker's Parade from 1997, coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, Velvet Crush's album, Teenage Symphonies to God from 1994 is another classic. Every track stellar. Starting off with Hold Me Up. This is one of those albums, too, where it's like, it has a flow to it all the way through of great quality tracks. It's one of those few albums that ends on a high note, too. Those last 3 tracks on here, Weird Summer, Star Trip, and Keep on Lingering, are fantastic. So another just stellar album, stellar power pop album from the 1990s. Velvet Crush's Teenage Symphonies to God from 1994. A must listen, folks. Coming in at number 6. Down to the top 5 for me here, the debut from Jellyfish, Belly Button. Now, if this came out in a different era, I think this would have been a huge success, but it came out right before the grunge movement. Things were kind of changing in pop music, and I think it just kind of got overlooked by the public at large. But what a great album this is. I mean, this is like finding like a little Rosetta Stone, right? If you never heard this album. Great production. You got Jason Faulkner in here. You got an amazing singer, lead vocalist called, his name is Andy Sturmer. Is that what it is? Andy Sturmer. Beautiful voice. He kind of reminds me of like Robin Zander of Cheap Trick in his more kind of quieter times without the edge. Just really smooth vocals. Incredible harmonies throughout. Some people kind of think they sound a little bit like Queen. I agree. There's a little bit of that Queen vocal element. There's Beatles, of course. There's Big Star. There's Raspberries and all that stuff. But they do it in a really unique way. There's a lot of kind of like unconventional moments that go on in the songs and the songwriting. I think it's just fantastic. A couple of my favorites on here are That Is Why. Those backup vocals are incredible. And another one called The King Is Half Undressed. Those are 2 of my faves on here, but a stellar album from start to finish. Jellyfish's debut, Belly Button from 1990. Coming in at number 4 is a guy that put out 3 amazing albums out in a row. I call him power pop, but he's also an amazing singer-songwriter, and I'm talking about Matthew Sweet. This is his album from 1993, 100% Fun. And just another one of many stellar Matthew Sweet albums. So starting off with Sick of Myself, We're All the Same, great power pop tracks. You've got some great singer-songwriter tracks like I Almost Forgot, beautiful melodies. Come to Love, Get Older is amazing. It's just incredible stuff. Love Matthew Sweet. Saw him several times live. One of the times I saw him was at the Ventura Theater, and it was one of the loudest concerts I ever saw in my entire life. We were right, like kind of like leaning on the stage, and Richard Lloyd from television was playing with him, and his guitar was ear bleeding. I've never come out of a show where I'm going, what? What'd you say? What? I mean, it was just crazy. So another great one here from the 1990s, 100% Fun from Matthew Sweet. Highly recommended. Coming in at number 4. Down to the top 3 here. Here are my 3 favorites from the 90s power pop scene. These are all flawless albums. Okay, here we go. Number 3, the debut from Fountains of Wayne. Talk about an absolute power pop masterpiece. Oh my God, from start to finish. Starting off with Radiation Vibe. God, every single track. Sink to the Bottom, Joe Ray. She's Got a Problem. Survival Car, Barbara H. Sick Day is such a great track. I used to be able to really relate to that track. I've Got a Flare, Leave the Biker, his hysterical track. You Cursed Girls. Please Don't Rock Me Tonight. And it ends with Everything's Ruined. I mean, this is just an absolute perfect record here. Fountains of Wayne, 1996's debut. Absolutely a must if you're into power pop. and one of the greatest albums too, power pop or otherwise, from the 1990s. Fountains of Wayne's debut 1996. Number 2, another one, just absolutely flawless from start to finish, and it absolutely frigging rocks. Teenage Fan Club's Bandwagonist. Oh my God, this is such a great album. If you put like Neil Young's Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, Rust Never Sleeps together with the Byrds and some Beatles and maybe some Kinks, you've got this. And they do it in a really unique way. I love the guitars. They're crunchy. They never sounded this crunchy after this album, Teenage Fan Club. They went a little more smooth, a little more clean. I wish they would have kept this up for another album or two in this vein. I love this particular era of Teenage Fan Club. Starting off with the concept, they go into Satan, this really just nasty sounding instrumental, just thrashing guitars. What You Do to Me could have been a Cheap Trick song. It's so freaking good. December, fantastic. I Don't Know, Star Sign rocks. My favorite song on here, Metal Baby. Oh my God, it's such a great track. Pet Rock, Sidewinder, Alcoholiday, Guiding Star is this music. This is what you call a stellar power pop album from the 1990s. Teenage Fan Club, Bandwagonist, coming in at number 2 for me. Coming in at number 1, an album that really changed my life in the early 90s, and I swear I had this thing on repeat in my car. Day after day, driving to and from work, I'd get home, I'd listen to it more. Number 1 for me, 1990s power pop albums, is Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend. Look at that cover too, Tuesday Weld. Just a classic album, classic cover. I mean, here you've got a mixture of amazing power pop, but also great singer-songwriter tracks. This guy is just brilliant. Matthew Sweet was just absolutely brilliant in the early 90s. Starting with Divine Intervention, going into one of the greatest singles of the 1990s, I've Been Waiting, so infectious. Girlfriend, got a lot of airplay on alternative radio back in the day. Looking at the Sun, Winona, beautiful ballad. Evangeline just absolutely rocks. Then you've got Day for Night, Thought I Knew You. The ballads on here are so moving. Thought I Knew You, You Don't Love Me. And then it ends with Your Sweet Voice. Oh my God. And then the 3 bonus tracks on here too. Does She Talk, Holy War, and Nothing Lasts. This is a 5-star masterpiece album. If you've never heard this, check this out. If you like Beatles, Byrds, Big Star, Neil Young, this is for you right here. So number 1 for me, Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend. And I don't know if you've heard, but Matthew Sweet had a debilitating stroke a few months ago while on tour. If you'd like, there's a GoFundMe page to contribute to his medical expenses. I chipped in a little myself. I felt I kind of needed to. He gave me so much joy with these albums, and I really hope for a speedy recovery. I don't know what his condition is at this point, but I hope he recovers and he gets back out and playing music. So there you go. Matthew Sweet, Girlfriend, number 1. I like the album so much I had to buy the vinyl version when it came out. It's pink vinyl. And I had to get it, folks. So there it is. Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend on pink vinyl. What are your favorite power pop albums from the 1990s? Let me know in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.